The hunt for Nebraska's brand new special teams coordinator has begun. So in today's video, I'm going to go over all of the info that I've learned over the past week, what's going on with the Huskers' top targets, who are some brand new names that have entered the mix, when will this announcement happen, and everything else that you need to know. So really quick, if you're excited about having competent special team play, I know I am, hit that like button. Also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're unsubscribed, what are you waiting for? It would help me a lot. Please hit that subscribe button for transfer portal updates, recruiting updates, daily Husker football content, breaking news, and so much more. Once again, please hit that subscribe button. Join the best family here at Husker YouTube. You will be thanking yourself that you did. But without further ado, let's get into it. Going into this update, talking about Nebraska in their hunt for a special teams coordinator. Now, before I get into some of our top targets and what's going on there, I want to talk about the timeline, when we can expect an announcement, because from all intents and purposes, it sounds like Matt Rhule is not trying to rush this announcement. Nebraska really is in no rush, period. They don't need to make this move happen, in the next couple of days. It's one thing to, be hiring a wide receivers coach. You want to make that move as soon as possible because that wide receivers coach needs to go on the recruiting trail. Special teams coordinator is different. Special teams coordinators don't really recruit. They're just focused on practice. So we don't need to make this move happen for a couple of weeks. And that was seen through Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule's not in Lincoln right now. The entire coaching staff for Nebraska is not in Lincoln. They're out on the recruiting trail on the high school front. Matt Rhule was seen yesterday in St. Louis visiting Titan Davis, who's a 4-star prospect. We'll talk about him all summer long. Don't worry. But listen, nobody on the coaching staff is currently in Lincoln. Matt Rhule, obviously, I think is trying to find a special teams coach right now, but I just don't expect this move to necessarily happen right away. But with that being said, there has been some movement. There's been some murmurs, some rumors around some certain guys. So I want to get things started talking about the name that's probably popped up the most recently. And this is Mike Ekeler, again, former Nebraska linebackers coach back in the Bo Pelini era, currently now with Tennessee, one of the best special teams coordinators in America. Now, apparently, Nebraska reporter Steve Sipple talked with Mike Ekeler about a week ago and asked Mike, hey, would you be open to taking this job? And Mike Ekeler said yes, he would absolutely be interested in coming back to Nebraska to be the special teams coordinator. So my mind has two thoughts. Number one, this could be true, but more likely than not, he's saying that so he can get a nice pay raise at Tennessee, right? Just because he says he's interested, he might be interested, but you don't publicly say you want to go somewhere else unless you want a payday. So he might be using us as leverage. But number two, I think he is genuinely interested. This guy was born in the state of Nebraska, still has family here. He had a daughter who was at the University of Tennessee. He wanted to stay there for as long as she was there, but she just graduated. So there's no reason for Mike Ekeler to really stay at Tennessee. If he could get a nice payday at Nebraska, I believe he would come here. So Mike Ekeler is a name to watch out for. Again, this guy, one of the best special teams coaches in America, only about 50 years old. So has some good days ahead of him. Also, linebackers coach, really good recruiter. So there has been smoke around Mike Ekeler. I truly believe if there's an offer on the table and Nebraska's aggressive here, they can outbid Tennessee for his talents. But again, this is the name they're going to want to watch out for, probably the number one on everybody's board. We'll see what happens there. It should be noted, he hasn't went on the recruiting trail recently for Tennessee. It's been kind of silent. I don't know. Some Tennessee reporters recently were saying there is a possibility he might leave. So again, I'm keeping a close eye on this. Mike Ekeler right now, probably the odds-on favorite to come over to Nebraska, but definitely watching this situation very close. I wasn't really, too into it when Sipple said that there was a chance he might come here. I was like, okay, what is what it is. He's using it as leverage. But when some Tennessee beat reporters start saying there's a possibility, okay, that's when my ears perked up. When the guys in Knoxville are saying that he might come here, okay. So what we got to watch out for Mike Ekeler. Obviously, we got to get into Bill Busch. Bill Busch confirmed the other day that he has heard nothing from the university. Again, this kind of just backs up what I said about a week ago. Do not expect Bill Busch to be employed by Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule, for whatever reason, just will not hire Bill Busch. He had an opportunity when he got here, and Matt Rhule said, hey, Bill, you did a good job, but I do not want to employ you. And he turned down Bill Busch multiple times. I don't know. I don't know why Matt Rhule won't hire Bill Busch in some sort of role, but it's clear that Bill Busch is happy with his radio gig. It is what it is. Do not expect this guy to be our next special teams coach. That's pretty much a done deal. Mark Scott, again, is another guy who there's been some murmurs around. I introduced you to this man about a week ago. Again, coming in from Baylor, he's their special teams coach. He was previously with Dana Holgorsen at both Houston and at West Virginia. Again, Dana Holgorsen has been noted to be very involved in this hiring process, not only for the special teams coach, but Dana was very involved in all of our coaching additions, whether that was DeKel Shorts, whether that was Terry Brad, Addison Williams. Dana Holgorsen was involved in every single one of those interviews, all of those processes. Matt Rhule values Holgorsen's opinion. It's kind of like a duo. It's kind of like a partnership. So I truly believe Mark Scott is on the table there. He is still working for Baylor. Again, he's on the recruiting trail for him right now. So it'll be interesting to watch. But Mark Scott, there has been some murmurs around him. Want to put that out there. I've got some questions about Brett Maher recently. Again, past Nebraska kicker. He's been on the staff since the fall, working with the kickers, whether or not he's going to be our next special teams coach. I do not believe Brett Maher will be our next special teams coach just because there's a lot more to special teams than kicking a football. And right now he's purely working with the kickers. Like he's not working with any other part of the special team. So there's a lot more to special teams than just kicking the football through the uprights. Yeah, that's a big part of it, but there's a lot more. So I don't think Brett Maher's ready to be our special teams coach, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know if that would be a good hire, but just know this, he will not be our next special teams coach. I wanted to address that because I've got questions about it. And then, some other names to watch out for. Sean Snyder, again, if Matt Rhule wants to go with the proven good special teams coach that we're familiar with, I would not be shocked if Matt Rhule went in this direction. This is the mold of coach that Matt Rhule wants in the special team spot. I guarantee you. He wants a veteran. He wants a guy who's been in college for 10 plus years, has shown the ability to be a good recruiter, but more than anything, just a good, solid special teams coach. He doesn't want like a young buck. He really doesn't. Like, that's not what he's really looking for in this special teams coach. He just wants kind of a veteran, an old, savvy guy, kind of like a Dana Holgorsen 2.0. So that Sean Snyder absolutely fits that criteria. There hasn't been any murmurs around Sean Snyder. I'll let you know if there are, but again, this is a guy where Matt Rhule's familiar with him. Everybody's familiar with him. Would not be shocked if Nebraska makes this move. And then two other guys who there's been murmurs about. I heard some about Toledo's current special teams coach. This is Stanton Weber, kind of a riser in the process. But again, for the exact same reason I said that, earlier that we're not going to hire a riser coach, that's the reason we're not going to get Stan Weber here. But I'm sure this is a pretty good special teams coach. Again, he's young, very, very young, was previously at Kansas State, was with South Carolina in the past. So this is a guy who's one of the best special team coaches in the MAC. Riser in the process, just we're not going to get him because he's not a veteran. Matt Rhule wants a veteran. One guy who is a veteran who Sean Callahan said there might be some interest in is John Bonamego, currently with Iowa State as a senior analyst on that special teams unit. This guy's fine. He has an extensive history, not only at Iowa State, but he was in the NFL. He has like a 40-year history coaching special teams. I think, honestly, he might be a little bit too old, probably not in our long-term future, but I know Sean Callahan did float this name out. So, again, it's interesting to see what happens here with this special teams coaching situation. I just don't think they're going to rush this move, right? They have no need to make this move happen right now. Special teams coordinators just rarely recruit. Ed Foley recruited, but he was more than a special teams coordinator. We're not asking our special teams coordinator to recruit. With an unlimited coach size, it doesn't matter. So they don't need to make this move happen because we don't need our special teams coach really until spring ball starts, which is March. So for all intents and purposes, they don't really need a guy very, very quickly. They're not rushing this process like they were with the wide receivers, D-line coach. So I could expect something tomorrow. I could expect something in a month. We'll see what happens here, but that's kind of the murmurs I've heard so far. It's been pretty quiet for the most part. Again, odds-on favorite probably is Mike Ekeler, of course. Again, Mark Scott is a guy that I will continue to pound the table for. I believe that he is interested in Nebraska and vice versa, but that's what I've heard. Again, we'll see what happens here. No rush from the coaching staff. They're on the recruiting trail right now. But anyways, that is my video talking about the special teams coordinator situation with Nebraska. Let me know your thoughts down below. Guys, transfer portal season, it's pretty much wrapped up. It's done. We're about 2 or 3 commitments away. I think it's going to be wrapped up by Sunday. So it's been fun giving you guys transfer portal updates. I think it's over, guys, and we're going to start getting to high school recruiting. Don't worry, because that's going to pick up very, very quickly next week. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who do you want as our next special teams coordinator? Hey, if you made this far in the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go Matt Rhule, and I'll see you in the next one.